Hey, Brendan.
Hey, Brendan.
Hey, good. Hey, what's up, boys? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Well,
good.
where are
Sorry, I
you?
completely blanked and didn't get to my computer.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Oh,
Well,
very
well,
interesting.
well, we
Where
wait
are
for
you
you,
right
man. That's all right. Yeah.
I'm actually outside in my gym.
now? Oh, okay.
We caught
Personal gym. Well,
we caught you
it looks
mid-workout.
like you can. Yeah. We were
I
interrupting his
wish I could say
workout.
that's what it was. I wish I was working out. I was literally just cleaning up dog shit.
The literal kind,
You have
right?
five
Not the
dogs. There's really not much you can do.
Well, I love it. I mean, you can't get more down to earth than that. But well, are you okay to do the interview this way, or do you want? We can wait a few minutes if you want to get to your computer and get chilled out and relaxed. It's all right.
Oh, there's no such thing in my household. But we're like I'm good. I'm good out here. I went and hid. I actually might even walk over to the other area. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good if you're good.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're a dad of 3 girls, like you said. You know, there's always chaos going on, right?
Yeah, I'm in between soccer practices literally today. Uh, just a shit show of clean up the dogs. It's pour some bleach on the ground or something, anything to clean up the mess. And then I look in on my wonderful kids who I love dearly, and I go, "How you guys good? You're watching Chicago PD for the 19th time? This same episode? That's great. I'm glad you're relaxed." Their response is, "It's summer." And I'm like,
Yeah.
what did I do different than my mom? I'm trying to figure it out. Because, man, summer just meant I had to go outside and pick weeds.
I had to pick weeds too. That's right. We had chores and stuff like that. Now the kids are
Yeah, I
just
mean, like real chores.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
just, I'm going to go do some dishes in or once in a while I'm going to sweep after my dogs that I had to have.
Well, while we're talking about kids, I got to ask: is it a kick to your kids that their dad is the Mandalorian, or growing up in a legendary Hollywood family? Is it just kind of like, nah, that's what dad does. That's his job. It's just like being a carpenter or anything else.
I mean, honestly, we were talking about it in the car today. And I think, especially with my girls, uh, I mean, they think it's cool and their life is better for sure because of it. Um, I don't think I definitely, it's funny because they're the first ones to say, like, I'd trade that show for that time back because, you're doing 15-hour days or whatever. And that
Right.
one gets you. But most of the time, it's not all that deep. And they don't like it
Mhm.
because when boys find out, they're like,
Oh,
or they get like, they're like, you're supposed to like me, but all you do is look over my shoulder at my dad and try to talk to him. And
Yeah.
it's like, and it's funny because it makes it easier for me to just be even more of like, no, I'm not going to talk to you, son. Yeah, I have no interest in you. And the fact that she brought you here is wrong because you're for now, not forever. So, we're in high school still.
Yeah, well, if they see you just maybe polishing that blaster rifle when they knock on the door, that'd be enough to send me the other way.
That's when my heritage works, which is I don't polish my blaster, I polish my Winchester. And I go, oh, see my grandfather's name on this? It's right there. Just
Right.
yeah, that's Winchester, and then John Wayne, because this one was made for him.
Wow.
And then you just see him go. But it's funny. Like I honestly like I have 5 brothers. I got quite a few buddies. Carl, God rest his soul, was really good about it. Like if I told him, one of my girls was going to go out on a date or anything, he would video conference when the kid got there, and he would like I wouldn't have to do anything. And the kid would be like bouncing between, why is this guy talking to me to, oh my God, Apollo Creed or Predator or
Yeah.
whatever it is, Chubbs. And then, they're like, oh my God. Like, and he would do it like he was such a, that's, God bless him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have a bunch of really good friends who are built like me, just like a little bit off and a little bit crazy, and we love to come out. Like it's like Frank Trigg, Hall of Fame, UFC fighter, All American wrestler. Uh, oh, I lost you. Did I lose you guys?
No, we're here. We're here, Brendan.
Oh, okay, okay.
We're here.
I got nervous.
Yeah,
All right.
Jason just giving you the full
Yeah, and
screen
so
treatment.
like he's the he plays one of the Gamorrean guards, and he and I, like, I'd seen him fight 3 times before I ever like met him, and so now he's
Yeah.
Uncle Frank to my kids, and dude, he's Frank Trigg. Like his ear still looks like someone was chewing on it before he walked in, and so he's great. He's unbelievable. He's a good one to have as
Yeah.
your wingman at that moment. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this question. Your daughters, they have these they go on these dates and the boys get all excited when they find out that their dad is the Mandalorian. But
Yeah.
what about you growing up? What about your friends and people around you? Because your dad was John Wayne. Did that matter to because you and me we're close to the same age. And John
Yeah.
Wayne, I believe John Wayne did matter to our generation, even though it was our fathers who were really turning us on to his movies. We had that respect.
Well, I will say there's a couple things. It's generationally, a lot of kids our age, my age, watched him with their grandparents, and that was their conduit. It's either that or there we go. It was either that or they were going to get stuck watching the Lawrence Welk show or something. So
Right.
instead, they got to watch, the dude. And so, yeah, I, of course, played it off like whatever. I was taught that, and rightfully so, very clearly that he's John Wayne, I'm not. Make your own name, and that's it. Because if you try to rest on it, you'll fall through and hit your face on the ground. That was a common theme, and because of that humility and the fact that I never saw him. Now, mind you, I was about 9, 8 when he passed. And I never saw him big time anybody or act like he was important. But I also was on a boat with him 90% of the time when I was with him, or at his house. So I didn't have to deal with that. I just knew him as granddaddy, and so I was never raised with that concept of you were more than, or because your grandfather was this, you're this. Like, and I guess I could have been. I know some relatives who definitely would wear the ring if it said Wayne on it, kind of thing. I'm just not. I wasn't raised that way,
Right.
and it just, I don't know, it never dawned on me. I think my peers made me want to be great, not and my family obviously. So for me, I never had a bad day being John Wayne's grandson. I definitely enjoyed life and still do, coming from that and having learned from it, and hearing stories about what he meant to people. From I was in Northern Africa and all these fans were there, and I was stunned. Like, these guys, half this town didn't have electricity that we were filming in, and then, they're like, and not in English, like, we love John Wayne. And the way they would convey that was show me VHS tapes or pictures of him, and I was like, what, this guy, wow, granddaddy, you did something, huh?
Yeah.
Like, like we think of him, I think of him, American flag and everything that's good and upholding the rights, not always, he wasn't always the clean guy. He was never really the white cowboy hat guy, even if he was wearing one. He was kind of dirty. He was an anti-hero in a lot of ways. But what he did was he did the right thing in the toughest moments in his characters. And that's kind of what we all like aspire to, right?
Oh,
in
yeah.
America and in general. So I always thought of him as that. But then when you see, in Japan, he's number 3 in the box office, or he's number 3 most popular actor up until, I don't even know, like, he's still in the top 10.
Yeah, it's hard
Like,
to think of any actor that exemplified what it was to be American more than John Wayne, to the point where
No, I
he's
don't.
folk hero.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's like folk hero's too quaint. He's iconic, and
Right.
I don't mean that like to be like that's. It's not me. I didn't do it.
Hmm.
Like
Right.
the collaboration, and he was really good about saying this. I didn't understand it as a kid, but he always talked about the team around you is what makes us great. And he
Right.
never said the team around you is what makes you great. It was us great. And it was always us. And that was the way I was raised. It was always about us. My father was a Navy pilot, fought in Korea. Like, I played sports my whole life. I coached. I made sure during, Mandalorian, I was still able to coach my kids and other people's kids at the high school that I coach at locally, because that's what I learned on our set, like on Mando. Like, I know I did good things. I know I brought what I brought, uh, but without Diego, my grip, or Creeper Johnny bringing me coffee and grip and lighting and wavelength, and my PAs, like, who they come up and they were so used to people being, I guess, like big time, and I mean, I probably was HR's nightmare, but I literally, I have no sensor, and so I'd be
Yeah.
like they walk in, I'd be like, get the out of here,
Well,
and
I
they'd be
want
like,
to.
I'm so sorry. And then someone would come back and be like, dude, can you apologize? They thought you were serious. And I'd be in tears. I'd be like, I'm totally kidding. I'm so sorry.
Well,
You guys want to come in my room? Here's my code. I built a gym in here. I got my hanging bags just like I did at my own house. I'm like, you guys come in my room anytime you want. Like, people come in and work out. Like, like, we were a family, and that's what I was taught. Like, family is everything.
Yeah.
On the last
Yeah.
8 kids, like, people are everything, community is everything, and it starts at one brick and you build out. And that's so, yeah, growing up John Wayne was interesting. I will say that I did go out on a date with a young lady who was really pressing me for a date, and I couldn't figure out why, honestly. And when I got to her house, her mom was like, she'll be ready in about 20 minutes. I was like, that's a little long. And she goes, why don't you go
Hmm.
hang out with her father in the study? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get the
Oh
tough
boy.
guy one.
Oh.
I walk in, and there's a 6'4" cardboard cutout of my grandfather right next to a wall of VHS tapes, because we didn't have DVDs when I was in high school.
Right.
And then a picture, and then like a Franklin Mint doll, and this other thing. And I'm like, I'm not making it out of this fucking room. Yeah, I'm gonna be like Kathy Bates.
Oh yeah,
He's gonna
misery.
he's gonna taxidermy me.
Get the mallet out. Well, okay,
Become part of the
So, I
collection.
mean,
you
we didn't have cell phones then either.
right.
Yeah.
SOS. You
We had my
mentioned
location.
that a lot of the time with your grandfather, you were on a boat. I assume you were doing some fishing, or you were at his house. Do you recall? Did he enjoy watching movies or watching television? Did he? And what, everybody watches John Wayne movies. What did John Wayne like to watch?
Craziest thing. And it's funny, I don't know that I ever, I don't think I thought anything of it then. But like, and even another writer actually talked about it. Ivor Davis, I think his name was. But, he had these books, like beautiful books. Like, funny enough, again, realizing it now, like picture books of things. And he was moved by pictures constantly. And he loved to read. He loved history. Like, he was huge. Winston Churchill. I have a book signed by Winston Churchill, and they talk about being second cousins. Somehow, I have never looked into it, but it's in the book, signed by Winston Churchill.
Wow.
Okay, so he loved theater. He loved movies. He had back in the day, he had a movie theater, like a home movie theater with a projection
Wow.
that someone would come in and run for him. You get
Yes.
whatever was new, like, Mr. Hope, or somebody like that's got a new movie coming out, or Sinatra or somebody.
Yeah.
You'd watch it, and I less me because I was so young, but probably like my brothers, sisters, and my mom, they would, watch whatever was recent. And he did. He loved to watch. He loved to see what was going on. He had opinions on it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm.
but he was great that way, in that he was in the art, he studied the art, but I watched him look at a book, and this is, for me, I don't know JW and the Duke, just Granddaddy, and I'm like, why do you have tears in your eyes, Granddaddy? And he's like, look at this, and he's, I'm looking at this thing, it's just a book, pictures of, like, I don't know, probably was like, the Russian ballet, and I'm like, oh, he's in a leotard, I'd cry too. And my grandfather's like, no, literally, like, my grandfather looks at me like I just told him that, Jesus was the devil. And he's like,
Mm,
what you see right there is art.
yeah.
What is he expressing to you? And it was actually a woman man dancing. And I was like, I don't know. Can we go watch New Hope?
Yeah.
I didn't get it, but he took the time to show me that the expression of this moment. And through that, I have so many books like Cruising, and it's Van Nuys Boulevard, which I'm like a mile away
Wow.
from, and everyone cruise Van Nuys, those Hollywood Nights and American Graffiti, all that, those
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
moments. And I could be in the back of like one of my brothers or my sister's car. Like my sister had a powder blue Mustang. It was gorgeous. It wasn't like Bullet. It had a trunk, but it was just awesome. It had fat tires in the back and skinny in the front. And I just sit in the back, and I was part of this, watching a generation being the next generation to come. And it was, and then having come from a whole, like watching my grandfather's generation, and it was incredible. Like it was very cool. So to see him have this emotion, and now I have these books, and I can go through, Dogtown, and think of, going to Venice canals here in California, and
Mhm.
now, you buy these $1 million homes on the canals. But when I was growing up, that's where they used to, the gangs used to dump dead bodies. So we'd go do
Right.
like
Right.
stand, go see it. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
still dead bodies in there. So yeah,
Well,
it's
let me
crazy.
ask you
It's
this,
crazy.
Brendan. You brought up you said you were sitting there with your grandfather, the Duke,
Yeah.
John Wayne, and
Yeah.
you were looking at this book of Russian ballet dancers and leotards, and you said, "Oh, come on, let's go watch A New Hope." Do you have any recollections of seeing that film with John Wayne?
No, not with my grandfather, though.
Oh,
Um, my mom talked about it because she had seen it before. She had taken all of us. There were 6 boys and 2 girls in my family. She took the 6 boys to see it at the Van Nuys GCC Theater. Uh, I'll never forget it. I mean, I'll never forget walking into that theater, sitting there and watching it. And she had watched it, and he had recommended it and said, well, this just might be the new Westerns.
Wow.
mm,
Wow.
that's
And I
amazing.
mean, I think he knew this, like at that point, anything that was going on, he knew what was going on. So he probably knew that, um, they were, he was trying to make a Western, they wouldn't let him. So he did this instead. And that was Luke's whole thing. And I thought that was so interesting later on when I found out. But yeah, my mom said, this is something your grandfather said you'd like. And I'd always liked, you know, the movies we watched with him. It was like My Man
Mm,
Godfrey or The Primrose Path, which is also a relative of mine, directed those. That was Gregory LaCava, who's an Academy Award nominated director. So
wow.
it's really, I don't know. It's very cool. And then I stayed away from the business as long as I could. So I was about
Yeah.
27. Then I started studying.
But what dragged you in then? What did you? I mean, obviously, you
Avoidance,
you do a lot of
avoidance of
stunt
work.
work, don't you?
No,
Primarily, do you do
okay.
a lot? Yeah, yeah.
I
Settle
never,
that.
I've never done. And it's okay. Like I laugh now. It's just because Lucas and Disney wanted to credit me as a stuntman. They had David Prowse. He was not credited as stuntman. So I don't know
Right.
why. They had the right to do whatever they wanted. I didn't. I didn't demand it in my contract. I just never even thought I'd need to. But
Mhm.
if I'm a stuntman, they owe me a lot of money for the work I did. Because
Okay.
I did a lot of I'm a very physical actor, and I think it really speaks to the character. Most of the characters I play I mean, all
Yeah.
of my characters, the physicality speaks to it, but like, you know, I understood this genre so well, and I just don't think they I think they're so used to putting, you're in this box, you're in this box, you're in this box. And I think Favreau, John, remembered me from Cowboys and Aliens. And I think the thing he really remembered was that I did a 70-foot pull off my horse, double flip into the air off this, I don't know what they call it. They call it a gooch.
Okay.
They call it a gooch wrap. And the reason is they stick it on your back, and then they draw it underneath you, in between your legs and up in front of you. And so when you get pulled, you go up. And so I'm riding this horse, and I'm riding. And then the alien gets me, and I go flip it in the air. And I mean, clearly my acting performance wasn't what he remembered, but he remembered that because it was in behind the scenes and everything. I remember I have a brother who runs a company that does all the, like, gets it ready for after the theaters when it goes on HBO or whatever. They have the behind the scenes. He does all the chapter things that you used to see on DVDs. He has a company that does that, and he called me and goes, "Bro, you made the behind the scenes." And I was like, "I better have. I was all over that movie." And he goes, "No, bro. Like literally, your interview. Like when you sat down and you were talking about how you wanted your stunt to be crazier than Olivia Wilde's." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's hilarious." And I mean, I honestly think John, thought of it that way. And so when I went and did this, I knew they hired me because they wanted an actor, somebody who could, say the lines in the costume with a helmet on, and still be able to act. But
Yes.
I was able to do both. Like there's a lot of it that I was able to physically do.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why I wasn't nominated for an Emmy, and that the guy who won the first Emmy for individual stunt award was the guy who plays Mando and does stunts, Lateef Crowder dos
Yeah.
Santos.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
like, there's a reason why I've never been nominated for a stunt, and it's because I'm not a stunt man, and I would never take the credit of their art, and it is art. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
watch this movie that's coming out, it is so beautiful, the stuff that JJ, Matt Leonard, obviously Lateef, just like just absolutely amazing. Rich Citron, Alex, all these guys. Like we brought some of the like original season one crew back in. Got to see Donald. Like it was just great stuff. And I hang out with the stuntman generally because there's not a lot of polish on them, but there's not a lot of veneer and bullshit on them either.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
it's
Right.
hang out with those guys because otherwise you might start to believe that you're more important than you are.
Right. Well,
Oh
you
man, you keep
mentioned,
it real, Brendan.
yeah.
You really do, and I have big props for you on that.
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I certainly appreciate it too. And you mentioned Dave Prowse, and I think Dave Prowse and Darth Vader is very analogous to Mando because it took many actors, many skilled artists to bring that character to life. Same with Mando. Can you talk a little bit about the dynamics between you and Pedro and Lateef and how that collaboration works? How much talking between the three of you does it take in order to make it feel like one character?
I leave that to John and the editing boys. Honestly, like at the end of the day, I like Lateef and I, obviously are. We might as well be related. Like we're so
You're
close.
brothers
Like
now.
when I got offered to do like Comic Cons, or actually it was a signing. Someone said, "Hey, would you do a signing?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I'm like, for what?" They're like, "Well, we know you're man." And I was like, "Oh, okay." This is before season one came out. And I was like, "Yeah, sure." But you have to, Lateef has to be there. And they're like, "Lateef." And I was like, "Yeah, he's the stunt man." And they're like, "Okay, so you're not," and I explained it to him. I was like, "Not a stunt man. just an actor who's really physical, and I try to do what I do as well as I can, so I don't, you know, in any way tarnish them. And but I said, but you know, Lateef, we're just brothers. Like he'll call me and be like, "Hey, how am I supposed to hold this gun?" And we'll FaceTime each other when we're on different sets. You know, I don't, you know, like Pedro, we're great. Like when we need to,
Mhm.
we're on it. But like, you know, Lateef and I are there grinding, grinding, grinding. I think Pedro's just so freaking busy. I don't think it's
Yeah.
easy
Right.
for him, but like he's hilarious. Like we're great. Like we're
Yeah.
buddies.
Right.
But he's not like Lateef and I, where you know we're going. We got to go get another job, kind of thing. His jobs are lined up. I don't even know if he could stop if he wanted to. Like
Oh,
he's
right.
just he's a freaking movie star. He's about to, you know, I think knock everybody's socks off with Fantastic Four, you know,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So I don't think no, it's not a like we can't micromanage it because
Mhm.
it can't happen, and nobody's gonna walk like me. Nobody's gonna do a side handspring into the most powerful. Mind you, I want you all to know the Teef Crowder literally has the hardest registered kick in the world. He's in the Guinness
No,
Book. So
really?
Wow.
I'm not doing that. I'm not standing up and kicking somebody. I'm gonna shoot you in the face. I'm gonna punch you afterwards, and then I'm gonna drag you through the window and throw you out. That's what I'm gonna do. And Latif's
Right.
like, you know, I'll rope you. You want to run out that door, little boy? Whoops, bang bang. That's how it's gonna go. Like that's what and the show taught me something that I should have known years ago. But you know, you push away from things that are huge, you know, that and especially if they're related to you. So like, I'm never gonna have the presence my grandfather had. Like, he's 6'5", 250, and this is how I go into work. And then I get into this job, and I find out it was his stillness and whether
Ooh.
he had the confidence in the moment or not. Generally speaking, it wasn't what he said; it was what he didn't say, and it was how he looked at you. And that's Mando, whether I
Yeah.
knew it or not. Eventually, I think John always knew it, but I think he was kind enough to not say it because then he knew I'd probably run tail around the corner with it. So instead, he gave me, you know, Schwarzenegger in Terminator and Yul Brenner in Westworld.
Yeah.
And those are the guys I emulated in the beginning because they were so robotic. And that's what we
Oh,
wanted from Mando. And then by the end of the season, because of the kid, he finds a little bit more humanity. And he's not living the creed by rote. He's actually finding out what it means, everything means. And that's Mando's journey. That's all of our journey, I think, at the end of the day, is what is our creed? Why are we living it? And what are we doing it for? And so to find like my connection to my grandfather artistically, when I never thought there would be one, through this show was an incredible find for me. But no, I'm not a stuntman, to answer that really in a long way.
well, but I'll tell
I'm
you what,
just an actor.
that Yul Brenner influence I've never heard before. And for
Yeah.
some of our listeners and viewers who haven't seen Westworld, well, I mean, there was the reboot,
The
so people
original.
are now familiar with it. He was an
Yeah.
android. He was an android gunslinger.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting that you take the robotic elements from the way he would, you know, walk and draw and all of that stuff for the early Mando, and
Yeah.
then you represent his growth through maybe a little more laid back, you know, just not so
Fluidity.
robotic as you said. That's just so
Yeah,
fascinating to
just
me.
fluidity.
I'm amazed.
Because you know one of Arnold's greatest performances, and I thought he's been great in a lot of things, but specifically is, you know, you watch Terminator and he's so good, you know, and it kind of gets overlooked because the movie itself is so fantastic and everything, and you kind of think, oh, okay, John Connor, Sarah Connor, like that whole thing was really cool, and you, but I know so many people who associate him as robotic, and I'm like, he was anything but. Watch him in
Mm.
Conan, he flows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
movie, he portrayed this thing, which also eventually, by the way, becomes a little more human as we go along with his story. Uh, but that was not. John was like, "Look at these guys. I want you to model it," and he was trying to slim down my natural, psychotic, chaotic actions. And then it brought me to something I had studied as an actor, and my wife, who is an actress, that's where we met, and she's a huge acting coach now, as well as an actress. But uh, there's this thing that we learned about Chekhov, about radiating, and I went, oh my god, yeah, that, like, you think about the greats and some of the moments that at least I recall, it's not monologues, like, come on, like, they're fun, that's an actor's dream, this monologue, and it goes well. But really, the simplicity of a moment, like Julia Roberts looking at, Hugh Grant saying, I'm just a girl asking a boy to
Mm.
love her, like, it's very simple. It's not like 7 pages of waxing poetically, which can definitely get a little internal and boring to me. But if you can stand
Yeah.
there and say to, Werner Herzog, after he says, they have you outnumbered, and you can look at him and say, I like those odds,
Yeah.
and carry that moment without doing anything but this,
Yeah. Nice.
guns akimbo.
Hey, did you ever look at the way Jeremy Bullock moved around as Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back? I know they're different characters, but the similarities are so obvious. You're both wearing that
Yeah.
armor and you're both walking around looking cool as hell. Did you ever take a look at him just to see the way he sort of moves around in the frame?
I mean, for the role, no. But did I ever take, he was my guy, like at last 8 kids. You could only be whoever you could get. And when I say I am tiny, at 6 foot, 180 pounds, I'm tiny in my family, except for my sisters. Don't worry, I'll keep
Okay.
your virtue, ladies. But my brother's like, the smallest brother I have is 6'2", 250. And I'm literally like rail thin when I stand next to people. Are like, oh, did you guys spit up? Oh, that's your brother. You're like, so when I went to reach for my guy to play with, it was always Bubba because he was the least used. You know what I mean? And in a lot of
Mm,
ways, he was resented because he was the guy who pissed us off for, what was it, 2.5 years before we got to see what happened to Han Solo.
easily.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like
Wow. So there was
that's like,
angst toward the Boba Fett action figure in the Wayne household. This is
oh
this is
yeah,
breaking
yeah,
news. That's
yep,
very interesting because it was like such a popular action figure. I've never heard anybody tell a story
oh yeah.
about having feelings of animosity toward that old action figure. But here we are in the Wayne household, and Boba
It was
Fett's the
that,
last one sitting there.
but yeah, but it became my, um, it was funny. It just became kind of like we find things and we kind of push our story through them. Well, that action
Yeah.
figure was my story. Was like, oh, I'm not as big or as strong as you boys. So what did I have to do? I was faster than them by a mile. I could
Mm.
out jump, you know what I mean? Like, and I had to, I mean, they were good at taking some punishment, but like I had to learn how to eat it because there was no way it's like if we were in a fight, I had to, in order to get in, I had to eat two to get one. And so that was kind of like, what I was taught, like, and that's Boba Fett to me. The funny thing is for me, his lore is incredible
Yeah.
because you talk to like Star Wars, the encyclopedia that is like Dave Filoni, and he's like, he wasn't even the best bounty hunter. Bosch was, Bosch was, and I
Mm.
was like, what? And he's like, that's everyone knows. I was like, that's crazy. He goes, it's just lore, and so I grew up telling stories about him, and he made the Christmas special and all these things, and so like for me, how does Boba Fett, he, I was ready to play Boba Fett since
Yeah.
I was,
Well,
10.
is there any truth, Brendan, that you thought you were actually auditioning to play Boba Fett when you went out for Mando?
Yeah, and it's funny
Interesting.
because I thought Mangold was doing the Boba Fett, and I was like, oh, why did they say it was Favreau? I don't buy it. Like I knew it was a. At first, I didn't even know it was Star Wars. I told them that they had to pay me because they were just wanting me to go try on a costume, see what I looked
Mhm.
like in it. And I was like, first of all, this sounds dodgy as f. Like, am I going to somebody's house? Because I'm not, like we're not doing that. I'm not playing. I'm not there yet. I'm not. I'm not that hungry as an actor yet. Um, and there's been a few,
That's a
but
tough
not me.
business, man.
Uh, So I get this, my agent's like, you won't go. I was like, no, I got to take the night off work. I got a kid who's about to go to college. I'm a bartender. No, I'm
Mm-hmm.
hand to mouth, boys. Sorry. So, needless to say, they were like, yeah, we'll pay you for the day. I was like, sweet. And then I go over to Glendale, this part of Glendale that wasn't nice. And I was like, okay. And there's a bunch of like warehouses. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna die. This is great, and I'm gonna get killed. I'm like, good thing I have a concealed carry license here. And so I was this close, honestly, to walking in with it in a bag, but I didn't. So
Mm.
I go in, and it's like, you got to buzz yourself in, and then lady's like, yeah, you got to sign the NDA, and I'm like, I haven't even walked in the door, so I signed this thing and drop it through the door, and then I open the door, and I'm like, expect to see like 7 homeless guys and a pot of fire and Will Ferrell and his Prius, and the other guys playing in the background. And so I'm like, good God, what am I going to? And I walk in, and I'm like, that's the Terminator. And it's
Wow.
full size, real Terminator. And then right next to it is like Idris Elba in Thor. And I'm literally looking around going, Gizmo. It was, and I was just in a lobby. Oh, and the Avatar. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Where am I? And I realized I'm in Sam Winston's old place, and it's now
Oh,
Legacy.
wow. Amazing.
And
Crazy.
I like it's starting now. I'm starting to go, oh God, I was really big in my britches. Oh my God. And so I walk into this dressing room, and there's like like a Camtono. There's like a
Yep.
Pelican case
Hmm.
that they go, hey, we're gonna have you put this on. They flip it open, and I'm looking at it, and it's the original version of Mando that we had, which I call the Pinto because we had a Pinto that had a couple. It was
Oh,
brown
with the
that
different panels.
shit
Yeah,
cream
Right.
yeah.
Pinto.
That's
But I
so
had a couple
funny.
panels that were a different color
Yeah.
because maybe my
Yep.
brother put one into a wall.
Like the
So
Bondo.
yeah, 100%. And if you look somewhere on my Instagram, it's there because I had to explain it to somebody because everyone was so mad. I was like, relax, it's a good part of my life.
Oh, I
Anyway,
get
so
that.
I look at this thing and I'm like, that's Boba Fett. And they're like, no, it's not. And I
Ooh.
was like, I go, I signed the NDA. It's okay. We can talk about it in here. Like, I'm not telling anybody. Like, don't get so impressed. Yep, there it is. I'm like,
There's
don't
the
get so
Pinto.
impressed with yourself. So, they're pulling it all out and they're putting it on me. And then they're like, this was a big deal at this point. And I didn't really know why. But apparently, this had already been cast. But the guy is Rich Cintron, who played Batman's double for like Ben Affleck. He did that crazy fight. Like, he's a stud. He used to spar with Tommy Hearns. Guy's a stud. Anyway, and he ended up working on Mando with us, and I love the guy. Really, absolute people. Somebody you want to like hold yourself up to be like. Really good guy. Anyways, but he wasn't an actor. He was a stuntman. So they were like, no, we gotta get somebody who's an actor. And I'm putting this thing on, and they're like, oh, the guy before you was 6'5". And I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it is kind of long, but because he was a fighter, he was thin. Thank you, Jesus, because I put this thing on and I looked, according to them, really cool. They were like, holy cow. And then there's this moment, and they bring out this other crate, and They're like, this is the moment of truth. And they pull out the helmet. And I realized, oh, it's not Boba Fett. That is stainless steel. I had no idea what Beskar was at this point. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I'm like, that's a pretty cool helmet. But I had been practicing. Oh, no, that was later. So I see the helmet and they hand it to me and they're like, okay, let's see if it fits. And I just plonked it on my head and they're like, go left and right. And all they had, you know, like they had this shell of a helmet and inside they'd put some like styrofoam ear muffs and a pad up here. That was it. And it fit. And they're like, can you see? And I'm telling you right now, I said yes. I didn't even open my eyes yet. I was like, yes. They're like,
I can see.
walk. And I'm literally like, okay, I'll walk. Bump, 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 bump. And I just, you know, I walked, I hit a chair, just pushed it out of the way like I meant to run into it. Boom, it's gone. And they're like, oh, literally started going, dude, you're the guy. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah.
The walk.
I don't know what that
The
means.
walk.
I literally was just there to try on the costume. Like I don't have a script, I don't have a story, I've heard nothing. So I'm like, you know, and I, you know, like Hollywood's weird. Like they'll be like, hey, can you come in and try on this cowboy hat? And they're like, thank you. And then you like hear like a year later, oh yeah, that cowboy hat you tried on. They want to make sure it looked good on Viggo Mortensen because he has a similar face or whatever. And you're like,
You're stunned.
Well, let me ask you this question. I've heard
yeah.
that when Pedro put the helmet on, he can't move, he can't walk, he can't do anything. So is it always you and Lateef in the helmet and the armor, or does Pedro ever act as the helmeted Din?
Well, we know for sure that he does because in the beginning of season 2, I was dying in the hospital for almost 6 weeks. And so, you know, for a fact, like this, and this is how I'm quashing this, you know, like, look, there are just things that we can say and we can't say, but to be clear, he's in the suit, he's wearing the helmet. You know what I mean? How he felt in it, I'll be honest with you. I don't really know, other than to say that he was stoked to see me come out of the hospital and put on that costume. And so was I. And it was something that, you know, besides my family, when you get debilitated like I was, where you're like literally dying a few times.
Well, I don't know what
on
happened.
the table.
It was an appendicitis, wasn't it, Brendan? Was that what it was?
It wasn't. It was part of it. But what happened is, you know, those ridiculous hernia mesh commercials you hear about join the lawsuit.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, they thought it was just my appendix, and I told them it's not just my appendix. Something else wrong with me. I'm in real good shape. I just had my last pro boxing fight of my career. I really need you to, you know, do something else. I mean, I was in a. So they thought it was appendicitis. They removed my appendix, cleaned me out. I was septic. Apparently, my pain threshold's really high. I'm sure it came from having 5 older brothers. I literally, although my 5'4" sister whooped my ass quite often too.
Everybody was beating your ass. So
general. Yeah,
that Wayne
you know, it sounds like
Constitution.
it literally sounds like all I did was, you know, get my ass beaten. I didn't. My family's wonderful. We love each other. I just got to say that as a disclaimer. But,
disclaimer.
So I did. At one point, my original surgeon I felt like he was disregarding me, and so came in one time because I kept telling him, you got to open me up. I didn't know that they couldn't open me up because my blood cell count was so low. I had to get a transfusion.
Oh my God.
And I wasn't gonna be able to fight off any infection. Like they were like, my daughter came back from college to say goodbye. Like,
whoa,
I died, and then I came back, and then I died, and then I came back.
Dang.
My
Yeah,
God.
so
So
I
what?
went
It was an
from-
infection from that mesh they put in when you have an umbilical hernia, and they put that mesh in there, and because I remember hearing about all the lawsuits, and I also remember the doctor who suggested I do it, and I blew him off. and I'm glad I
Yeah.
did. But
Yeah.
that's what it
So
was, wasn't it?
I had three hernias. I had a triangular hernia. I had one on each
Yeah.
side and then one umbilical. And so they just patch, it was good. I
Right.
felt fine, for a
Yeah.
few years. But then, every once in a while you get like a stitch or something. And I'd get this one over on my left side. And I was like, what's just old something. Something hurts from getting punched or something. And, or,
Mm.
the car crashes. I had a few car crashes. And
Mm.
so, you don't know what it is. And then for a week, I, I thought I had gas. And
Gas.
I was getting this pain. I literally thought I had gas. I was like, oh my God, like doubled over. I'm like, I eat a lot. I used to eat a lot of sugar and drink a lot of Cokes. And so,
Uh,
a lot of sugar. Yeah. Anyway, so
sure.
I thought maybe that's what it was. And then my daughter's birthday was the 27th of September, 2019. Spent the day at Disneyland. And I mean, when I say like, I was getting like upper lip sweats, and like when you get so drunk you can't like you're gonna hurl, and
Yeah.
like your
Right.
tongue's
Yeah.
curling up and you're sweating. But it's my daughter's birthday, so I'm just grinning. Let's go, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh God.
And the next morning, I mean, I couldn't sleep. Like we got home, and I couldn't sleep, so I went out in the living room and I was sleeping on the couch. It was like 6 in the morning, and I knew I had to coach my kids' game at 11, and so I was like, I just texted my wife. She was asleep. I'm like, hey, when you wake up, I'm probably at urgent care. I think I have kidney stones. I have no idea.
Mm.
I have no idea why I said that. I'm in the front here, whatever. And luckily, I emailed my internist, Dr. Sarang, and I said, hey, I'm going over to the hospital, just so you know. Luckily, urgent care was closed, so I went to an ER. Went to the ER, and like 45 minutes into me just being that guy when you walk in the ER with like a broken finger, and you hear some guy
Yeah.
going, and I'm like, I kid you not. Hey, there's a chair. I can't sit in it, so I
Oh.
lay over it. I'm like, oh
Oh my.
no! And it literally, I'm that guy that you're like,
Oh.
don't go in the emergency room. Don't go. There's a guy, and oh my God. And my doctor comes walking through the ER doors because her office across the street, she was doing rounds. She walks in, she looks at me, and I go, hey doc, I need I need you to shoot me up with some morphine. I got a coach at 11. And she looks at me, she goes, you got appendicitis. And I go, I got a game at 11. What are you going to give me? And she knows that if she tells me she's not going to
Mm.
give me something, I'm going to turn and walk out the door. So she's like,
Mm.
okay, we'll go in, we'll give you a shot. Because I've had kidney stones before, and they shoot you up, and you're like,
Mm.
hey, that's pretty nice. And so,
Yeah. That's the good
so
stuff.
yeah, dude. And then I wake up, and I'm like, I'm in a gown. I ain't got no clothes on except for this blue thing,
Oh.
and I got
Mm.
like things coming off me, and I'm like, what is going on? And they can already see. I'm like, what time is it? And they're like, dose him. And I heard him say it. They were like,
Wait a minute.
Game over.
This is like
next thing.
the A team when they used to have to drug BA to get on the airplane. They're drugging you to get you in the hospital, man. Holy crap.
You are the
So
Mandalorian
next
after
thing,
all. I mean,
I wake up in a room that is airtight chamber. It's the oxygen chamber.
wow.
And I don't know why I'm in there. And none of the painkillers work on me. So like by the end of it, and it's hilarious in a lot of ways. In another way, I had to kick a heroin habit in the hospital because it was that you remember Tombstone. Obviously, we all love
Oh yeah.
Tombstone.
Yeah.
And remember Maddie Wyatt's wife?
Yes.
Do you know what she was hooked on? She was hooked on
Morphine.
Laden.
Oh
Oxy.
Yeah,
well, I
and
took, I
that's
took a stab in the dark with morphine. What was it? What was
it's
the?
morphine. It's the Laden,
Oh,
and
okay,
that was
okay,
what they
same
had
thing.
me on because nothing else would cure it. But I kept filling up
Uh-huh.
and getting septic. And they were like, they had told me, you'll be out
Mm.
in 5 hours. Oh, you'll be out tomorrow. And then we're working on like
Mm.
4 days. And I say to the doctor, I'm like, hey, fella, there's something else wrong with me. He's like, no, you're going to be fine, da 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 da. And I looked at him, I said, hey,
Wow.
I'm not your fucking mother. Pardon my French. I'm not your mother. So you don't have to tell me that the sky is full of roses and some other things
Yeah.
that you like. And he looks at me and he goes, what? I go, I don't need you to pussyfoot around me. I need you to fucking tell me what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah.
you're fine. It's okay. So that night they have to intubate me. I go into the ICU because I swell up. First of all, I go in at 180. Within those 4 days, I'm down to 150.
Jeez.
Then in
Jeez.
a 4 hour period, my wife had to remind me of this. I went up to 188 because I'm just retaining,
Oh my
because I'm
God.
filling up with I'm literally exactly what everybody's thought, which is full of shit. And so like, but nobody knows.
Mm.
And so they got to intubate me. And I'm telling you right now, uh, I can't make the joke, but when we're not recording, I'll make the joke that I made there.
Okay.
I mean, they're
All
shoving
right.
that thing down your throat. You find out who you are really quick.
Oh, I bet.
Oh
And
boy.
I was like, dude, I'm not,
Well,
look, I'm not that Catholic. So we go,
gave you the. Oh, jeez.
we're in there and they've got this, I got this tube coming, they've got to feed me this way. All of a sudden now I got a colostomy bag attached to me. And this is like the worst nightmare. And I'm in the ICU, but nobody took my phone away. And you guys are gonna laugh your ass off. So my buddy calls my wife and goes, hey, where's B? And she goes, what? Because I've already told her, don't tell him. Production has no idea. They think I just have appendicitis and I got to recover.
Right.
So he goes, Sarah, seriously, where is he? And she goes, what's Alex? What's going on? And he goes, well, I just got a message that said, bring me a slice of pepperoni pizza, a Gatorade ice, and meet me at St. Joe's ER doors in 5 minutes. And she goes,
Without
hey,
tube.
she goes, where are you? He goes, 5 minutes away, but should I be doing this?
He's
She goes, no, and call everybody. And so she tells him what's going on. And she comes into the room, and I mean, there's very few things I remember when I was all drugged up here.
Yeah.
I remember that face when she walked in. I was like, oh my God, she found my magazines. Nope. He walked over and goes, where's your phone? And I was like, oh my God. She grabs my
busted.
phone, man. That was it. I didn't see my phone again until I
Yeah.
got out of the hospital. But
Yeah. Well, I hope
apparently
you
I text like 10 people.
I hope you eventually got that slice of pizza.
Uh, you know, it's funny. I did, and it was glorious. But I
Yeah.
did. So the doctor came in a day after Dad came into the ICU, and now I have like 5 doctors working on me. And they're going to transfuse and all this stuff. And the doctor who originally, cut me open, the surgeon, comes in, and I go, all right, motherfucker, don't come in this room again or I'll kill you. I'll kill your family in front of you. And I'm going to kill the nurses that you bring around. And this guy never came in again. But I blamed it on the drugs.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean,
Blamed it on the drugs.
on and off screen, total badass.
Insane.
That's crazy. How much time did you miss on production of this? Was at the end of season 2?
No, beginning.
Beginning,
So,
okay.
I missed about 4 weeks, and we reshot some stuff for me, because there's just some stuff that, I mean, it's you see me walk away, you see me walk away. Like there's just not many people who are gonna be able to pull it off, and it's not like I'm trying to do something.
Right.
It's the way
Yeah.
they slowed me down, and then all of a sudden you find out, oh, I walk like my grandfather actually. All right, that's good to know. And I thought it was only when I was drunk, but really what happens is when I'm drunk, I just walk slower. So that's all it
Oh, I
is.
see.
When you're
That's
walking drunk, you're
awesome.
like left foot, right foot, and you're not thinking ha la la like yeah. So
But
yeah,
but I mean,
I
you
was
own
going for
that. You totally own that in like the proud tradition of so many actors from Star Wars who were the men behind the mask. It's not like you
Yeah.
could just throw someone else into that uniform, into that wardrobe, into that helmet. You have to have the right person. And whether it's David Prowse, Peter Mayhew, Jeremy Bulloch, or yourself, Brendan Wayne.
Yeah. Well, I would say this, and I don't say this, I say this with all humility, which is um, because I had the first season, so much of it,
Yeah.
and we did something with it. You know, I'm very proud of it, and it's a we, it's not a me. But we did do something with it. Whether it was, you know, I'm talking to like my A camera operator, and he's like, "This looks silly," you know. And most directors don't want anyone, you know, getting direction from their camera, you know. But for me, I knew these guys. I trusted them. I knew their other work. They've seen it, so why wouldn't I take it? And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're not shooting on film, so it doesn't cost us anything. So, like for
Right.
me, you know, we did a lot of work together to create him, and it was going to be hard for anybody to try to step in and and copy what I'd done, because I waited and studied my whole life for this, and I didn't know it. I'd always been a cowboy. I always wanted to be a sheriff. I always, you know, rough, you know, A-Team you brought up, you know, the only signature. And I mean, I hung out with, I knew him as Uncle Ronnie, but he was a president, I guess. You know, like I hung out with Loretta Young.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
guy.
There's only one person I ever asked for an autograph from, and that's Murdoch from A-Team.
Wow.
I saw them.
Amazing.
They were filming, and I was walking by, and I was like, "I need you to sign my sign this. That's the your site." Like, I mean, like
That's
I never
really
nothing,
cool.
right? And
That's
so,
so cool.
it was gonna be hard no matter what. Like you were just. I mean, I'd shoot guns, quick draw, all that stuff like that. That's what we grew up on. Even
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
we were the punk rock like the Clash is probably my number one. If they said, hey, you have to go to an island and there's only one band you can listen to forever.
Right
Maybe
on.
at my age now, maybe I bring the Red Stray Clays, but it, you know, like
Okay.
for me, it was the Clash, and it still is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that was when it's funny because in the helmet I can wear these little earbuds I have.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time it was just me and the kid, you know, and we had to
Yeah.
go somewhere, do
The
something.
kid.
And
The
we
kid.
had to, yeah. And we had to kind of get something done. And so, you know, a lot of it's me running with the kid, like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And so I would be playing, it's funny, I'd be playing London's Falling,
Yeah.
Spanish Bombs.
Yep.
Ozzy's Crazy Train was a great one for me.
Oh, R.I.P. Ozzy.
And it's funny
R.I.P.
because everyone was like, "Are you listening to Iron Man under there?" I was like, "No, that's already been done." Now listen to Iron Man. But like, I was like, "Yeah, we're going." Ozzy was great. Some Sabbath. What else did we do? It's funny because I have like a playlist for every scene,
Yeah.
and I have all my songs for every season, everything I was going. You know,
Oh
like I was
man,
going.
you should publish
So
that
like,
somewhere so people can take a look at that and relive the creation of those scenes.
well, and so I'd get to work. Like if we had a 6 o'clock call, I'd get there at the latest at 4 in the morning because I built a gym in my room and I'd work out in
Mhm.
there, and then I'd run the studio, and then I would get the helmet and I would go walk the scene and I would listen to my music because, you know, when we think about like for our generation, I think it really speaks to it, which is when I think of Miami Vice, In the Air Tonight, and that
Yeah.
opening,
Yeah.
they don't say a word for 30 seconds. Can you imagine if we tried to
Builds.
do that on TV right now? Like
Right.
just play a song, but it that's what Manda was for me. Every scene was what is this song to this scene? You know, and I didn't have to change them. Like sometimes I'd be like, "Whoa, that was too energetic." Like, it's got to be brooding on this one, or this has got to have way more stakes. So I got to bring it up like Crazy Train, and
Yes.
something like that. And that was really fun. Like when you get to that, to play somebody who's number one on a call sheet, meaning you're in every damn scene.
Yeah.
You get a lot of leeway, and there's a lot of trust put in you. And there was
Mhm.
John and Dave put a lot of trust in me, and I think we did it. But I never thought about it though. Funny enough, it's weird. It never crossed my mind that I got a responsibility of this. I just did my job every day. And it's funny, I had no guarantees with that show. Season 1, season 2, Book of Boba Fett. I had to sign a contract daily.
Daily.
Normally you get guarantees.
Wow.
They never gave me a guarantee till season 3.
Oh my
Um, and
God.
and I think that was because it cost them more eventually to not give me a guarantee.
Huh.
That is so interesting. And also with the guarantee, you got some prime billing on the show as well. No longer were you listed as a stunt actor or whatever.
Oh,
they
look
were
at
calling.
this. We
He's
got a
his
special
booth.
guest.
You got
That's Daphne.
Who's
That's my
this?
girl Daphne.
Daphne.
That's Daphne. She's the best. Yep.
Oh, she's
Hey,
sweet.
rescue dogs. Rescue them.
Yes, absolutely. I have a rescue dog. Jason's
You?
a dog lover. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have 5 dogs.
5 dogs. Yeah.
I
The
wish I
family's
had
on me to
5
get
dogs.
another one.
That is really like nobody can leave. We're gonna have 4 people go on vacation in this family, but someone's got to stay home with the dogs.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you gotta
got-
take care of your animals. They need you.
You better, or I'll come for you. I got
Brendan.
I got a Doberman. I got a Vizsla.
Yeah.
Let's
And
be
they're barking on cue.
She's like, can I get on camera? Anyways, yeah, going back to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, all right. Real quick, some rapid fire questions about The Mandalorian. Who has been
Yeah.
your favorite actor to work with on that show?
My mentor, Carl Weathers, God rest his soul, because he not only was incredible. Hey, it's me. Come here, Percy. Come here.
Now the dogs are taking over the show.
Well, because they're like, who's this guy in the back talking? Yeah. So Carl Weathers, because while I'll tell you, maybe I'll let the questions go, and then if you don't bring it up, I'll bring it up. But Carl Weathers, because I was definitely over my skis when coming into this show, and he taught me what being a man was on set, and the response. Well, being a leader on set. Sorry, and how it'll all trickle down from me. And so if I take any moments off, someone else might, and then we'll fail. And he taught me a lot about acting and things like that. He took me under his wing. So Carl, God rest his soul.
So my next question would be favorite director, and it's probably Carl, right?
It was incredible to work with Carl. And I could be cheeky and say it and be like, but I'll tell you what, I was directed by a guy who I played basketball against in high school who dunked on me. Rick Famuyiwa.
Oh,
And that was
Rick.
incredible.
Yes.
Wow. Small world.
But I mean, John, I just got directed, but I've been directed by John twice.
Yeah.
And we all know he's incredible. But hey, it's between Bryce and Dave Filoni.
Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard also.
Yes.
Tell us
And
about
the
her.
reason-
Tell us about her, the
She's
way
a-
she runs the set. What are her directing chops like?
My God, she's incredible. She is. First of all, she's gonna run you. Like if you're there, you better be ready to work. And so that was great for me, because she's gonna try things, and she's gonna do silent takes, which I thought was hilarious. If it was just me in the scene, because I'm like, I'm in a helmet. It really doesn't help
Yeah,
much.
it doesn't even matter, right?
But she'd like to try things and see how she could play with you, but she did her homework too. Like, first time I met her, she walked up to me and was like, 3 generations, and gave me a pound. And I was like,
Wow.
wow, okay. And then I was like, hey, by the way, I have a picture of your father and I on the set of The Shootist. And she was like, what? Oh my God, you're going to have to show him. I was like, yeah. Like, when am I going to see him tomorrow? Like, I literally joked around. Next day, this guy walks into the tent, and I'm like, hey, it's Ron Howard again. Hey. And he's like, I hear you got a picture of me. And he was so nice. And then, he shared stories about my grandfather being. So Bryce is amazing. But when I came out of that hospital, I mean, I could barely stand up straight, but I didn't tell them that. And I went back to work, and I had when I say, like, I had a wound that was that big, open right here on my gut, that I had to kind of constantly keep clean inside this sweaty,
Wow.
dirty costume. But I wasn't going to let it get away from me. I didn't want to give him the opportunity to do anything, because I loved it. I'm going to kill my dogs now. Hey, Hershey, it's a fucking bird. You're not even going to get it. It's 500 feet away.
Do you have a
So,
personal favorite episode of The Mandalorian? Personal favorite
this is where that
episode?
goes. This is where that goes. The Jedi. Dave held that episode so that, because he wrote it for me, and he's like, I wrote this for you. Like, he held that episode because
Wow.
he wanted me. That was it. And that was what it was. I got to draw with Johnny Ringo. I got to introduce Ahsoka and Rosario. We had Diana Lee and Santo as a magistrate. Michael Bean's there. Like, the history we kicked around in that episode, and Yo Jimbo and the whole thing was an incredible, just on itself was awesome. But then to know that he pushed production dates till I got out of the hospital, well,
Wow.
that made it everything for me. So yeah, that's another one. All right. Yeah,
Super,
go on.
super memorable. And what was it like working with Rosario?
Rosario's she is the greatest number one you'll ever see on a call sheet. And I say that because she brings energy, love, and everything. Now, is she able to sit in there like I do, all day and just shoot the shit? No, because she's got a million things. But she is never mean. She's never rude. She's always bringing joy. She's always like, you can't not walk away and just go, like, first of all, you see her, and just as a human, you're male, like, I was literally like, my God, you're more stunning in person. Like, how is that possible? And then okay, now here's the bitch, and and nope. I'm like, wow, you just became even more attractive. I need to get out of here. I need to call my kid. I need to call my wife. Like, anything. Like, I gotta go. I'm gonna go work out. Yeah, it's incredible.
Can you
All right.
tell us
Go ahead.
about when George Lucas visited the set?
Yeah. That was incredible. I was, I don't get starstruck, I told you. But I was, he and Carl Weathers, I was pretty quiet next to. And finally, I just looked at him and I was like, am I doing okay? And he looked at me and goes, I don't know. You seem to be liked by everybody. I go, yeah, I'm talking about the art. And he goes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Brendan, Josh, right when you started to talk about what George said to you, you broke up. The audio broke up. So I'm so sorry. Do you mind repeating that? You had asked, so George is on set, and you asked him if you were doing okay.
Well, we've run into some technical difficulties with an on-the-move Brendan Wayne.
It's the dogs. I think the dogs are conspiring
the
to...
dogs. The dogs. But something tells me this is the type of energy he brings to the set on The Mandalorian, not being able to sit down. He just mentioned that he does these shooting days where he can keep going 15 hours, no problem. Rosario Dawson or one of these superstars, they drop in and drop out. They don't do these marathon days in front of the camera like a guy like Brendan Wayne does. But yeah, it looks like we have lost Brendan. So
Well, hopefully he'll call us back and we can wrap things up with him.
You want to just like cut him loose and maybe he will hit the link again or something.
It just did. So maybe he will hit the link and we can
maybe he'll pop back in or Shall we jump? You want to do Star Wars and pop culture while we're waiting, and maybe he'll call back.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, why not? I mean, here we are. We have the time now all of a sudden, and Star Wars and pop culture demands to get our attention. So
here we are.
Rebel Force Radio.
You've already made that Star Wars reference.
Your source for the Force.
Star Wars parody.
All right. Well, we've been wanting to get to these for a long time. We started to crack open this backlog of pop culture moments last week. So we've got more where that came from.
We sure do, Jason. And thanks to all you guys who send in your suggestions to show at rebelforceradio.com. Subject line, Star Wars and pop culture. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We don't throw them away, I'll tell you that. And sometimes they pile up in the inbox week after week. But hey, look, here we are. Star Wars and pop culture. We made it. So this is from a newer show. It's called St. Denis Medical. And the family watches it upstairs, and they love it. It's on NBC, and I think they just wrapped up its first season earlier this spring. But they've been dropping Star Wars references, and there's been a few of them. This week we'll just do the first one.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Here it comes.
Hold that thought, because Mando is back. Here he is.
Hey,
Mando is back.
Go.
Right in time for the George Lucas story.
How good was that? My phone died, apparently. I had no idea.
Oh man. Well, really appreciate the call back, because we were dying to hear the other half of this. I'd asked you what it was like when George Lucas came on to set, and I think I heard you say that was an episode. Was that Carl Weathers that was directing that day?
That was because that was what's that? It's a good question. It might have been
Or maybe Dave. Was it Dave?
Carl was in the scene. Oh, it was Dave. It was Dave. You're absolutely right. Yeah, because it was when the troopers come in and they fire hose the bar while we're in there, and Werner gets all shot up, and we were on that's right. And I say to him, hey, how am I doing, kind of thing, and he says, they like you, and I was like, yeah, no, I meant like the character, and he goes, that's all you need. And I was like, oh my God, okay. That's it.
That's it. Well,
they
that's
what you're doing. He's like, and what he's saying to me was, if it wasn't good, without saying all these words, right.
Right.
It was, if it wasn't good, then it wasn't, then you wouldn't be here, kind of thing. And without being kind of dick, like I would be, of course. But, I also asked him about the Force eventually. And, and he was like, everybody has it. And I was like, oh, what? I'm like, we're not big fans. Like Mandalorians, we don't like Jedi and the Force and the whole deal. And he's like, that's not the point. The point is that everybody has good and bad. And I go, wait. Are you going to tell me the wolf story that I've already heard my whole life? And he looks at me, I'm like, the good wolf and the bad wolf. And he looks at me, and I'm like, which one am I going to become? We have both in us. And the answer is whichever one you feed. And he goes, I don't have to tell you anything.
Yeah. That's him actually being remarkably effusive. And really, for George Lucas, you got a lot out of him, I'll have to say.
Yeah. I'm very curious how this panel is going to go with Doug Chang at San Diego Comic-Con.
Should be interesting. I'm really looking
Um,
forward to that museum opening. I've been a strong supporter of that. I'm in Chicago, and it was originally supposed to be here. And he
oh,
ran into some problem with some special interest groups, and they kind of they sent him back into California, unfortunately.
yeah. Why
City of
would you
Chicago
want that?
wanted
And I understand it. Because he wouldn't grift some, assemblyman. What?
No, he
Yeah.
did all that and did a real good job with it. It was an environmentalist special interest group that put the screws to
Oh,
him legally, and it could have been held up
yeah.
in courts for years. And so he said, "Sayonara, Chicago." The city wanted him here. Oh yeah. He
Which is
dropped
funny
off
because you would think
25
that.
million. He dropped off 25 million to the Chicago Board of Education, and that seemed to get the ball rolling on all kind of things.
Yeah, I bet you those kids still don't have books.
Well, some of them
That's
don't even
another
have
topic.
tools anymore, from what I understand. So that's the unfortunate situation going on. But I'm not going to lay that on George Lucas. I'll tell you that right now. But the
That was
museum
my
should be very interesting. Yeah.
my first Comic-Con was C2E2.
Oh, no
Funny.
kidding.
Yeah.
Well, when was that? I must have
Oh,
missed that
God.
one.
4 years ago. No, not even 3 years ago. I wasn't allowed out of the house. Like Lucas didn't let me go do things for a while. They wanted
Oh,
they wanted to
yeah.
to put the narrative out there. Now
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Do you have more rapid fire questions?
Oh, what can you tell us about the Mandalorian and Grogu?
Okay, this is what I can tell you about my working with Carl Weathers was a dream. Okay, like this is Apollo Creed. This is a man who did Action Jackson, like all those things that drew me to acting, honestly, which is these incredibly physical roles that he physically participated in and still did on this show, which was amazing. What great shape he was and everything. Okay, that said, we already know she's in it, so I'm not. There's no spoiler here. I will say about the movie itself. I think we go to the storytelling originally that we loved with Mando, where we're not creating we're not growing another tree just to make a bigger universe. We're with the kid and Mando quite a bit, and their journey is forefront. That said, this woman walked onto set, came to me and said, "You are magnificent." I was talking to Jim, and then I looked at her like, Jim. And she's like, "Oh, Jim Cameron." I was with Jim Cameron, and we were talking about how great you are. Like,
Wow.
like what you bring is amazing. And I'm bloop, bloop, melt, about to fall into a drain. And Ripley's talking to me.
Right.
I'm like,
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
this woman, she knew my name. Walked up to me like Brendan, and I'm literally like, "Oh my God!"
Wow.
Like, I mean, I'm still kind of. We became friends. I watched her work, and my respect for her approach and her commitment knows no bounds, because she didn't have some people who are established as her or who've been working. You don't see them like bring their script out and work on things and talk about things in front of other people. They do that in separate, and because I don't know, because they think that everybody thinks they're the wizard. Well, we've all seen behind the curtain, but to see her work, to watch her write down notes, to watch her invest and watch it evolve, and watch her expand the character in a way in front of you, you can't help but be a better actor afterwards. And to be a part of that, and to know that that person said that they held me in high esteem, and we texted, like I texted Sigourney Weaver. Are you kidding? Like,
That's amazing. Congratulations,
Like,
Brendan.
I
We
mean, I'm
can't
sure
wait.
it was a burn phone and she's throwing it away, but like I literally
I don't know. I don't know. She probably relays the messages to Jim quite
yeah.
often.
Well, no, then she told me, oh, I told Walter all about you. And I'm like after a week of working together, I'm like, Walter. And I'm like, is that her husband? And she goes, no, Walter Hill. I had dinner with Walter Hill. I'm like,
Walter Hill.
we're talking lawyers, 48 hours. Like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Like,
Great.
well, if they're doing anything, let them know. And she goes, I'm going to let Ridley know. And I'm like, at this point now, I've like taught the game. I'm like, oh, Ridley Scott, yeah. But I don't say it. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. She's like, because you're a cowboy. I'm like, yeah. She goes, he wants to do a Western before he's done. And I literally was like, I didn't think you could be more attractive.
Amazing. What great career success you've had. You've been so generous with your time. Thank you so much for calling us back too, because we really did want to hear the rest of that George Lucas story. So, but we know you have another soccer practice to get to and some dogs to chase around, and so
Go feed them before we leave.
But you're just a great storyteller, a real awesome, down-to-earth guy. I really dig your energy, and I got to be honest with you. Coming into this interview, I find myself feeling a little nervous, primarily for the. I mean, we've talked to so many Star Wars creatives and actors and talent, but you're the Duke's grandson, okay? And that meant so much to me. My dad was and still is a tremendous John Wayne fan. When I grew up in our basement, he was a collector of memorabilia, still is. And he has
you grew up in the basement?
I grew up in the basement. I was in the basement. Yes, I'm still in the basement, damn it. But in the house I grew up in the house I grew up in, my mom and dad, my dad had memorabilia. He had a replica of the rifle from True Grit up on the wall. He had an oil painting of John Wayne as Rooster Cogburn in our basement on the wall.
Is that it? That's the one?
Is that the rifle? Yeah. Let me see. This is the
commemorative John Wayne 1911 made by the Armed Forces.
Oh.
Yeah, now that's a pistol. We had the full-on rifle from True Grit. It was mounted. We had a small bust-sized statue of John from The Searchers. It was the whole thing there. And as a kid, he sat me. I'm sorry, I lost you, Brendan. But no, I'll just continue.
Keep going because he's
grabbing more memorabilia. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, he's getting some cool stuff to show you.
Oh, now he's got the rifle. That's the
one.
Rifle.
Holy cow!
Look at this, and that is much more shinier and prettier than what we had. That's an amazing piece. Jeez.
Whoa!
But as a kid, my dad. Wow, look at that embossing. As a kid, my dad showed me all the movies. Red River. The Quiet Man, The Searchers, She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, Rio Grande, all of them. And we watch them. And then as a kid, Brendan, I would stay home from school sick in the 70s, and a rerun of the Lucy Show would come on, and all of a sudden I'd see John Wayne on the Lucy Show. I'd be like, there he is. There he is.
Second most watched episode.
Yeah.
Bob Hope specials and the Tonight Show appearances. That was the stuff I was eating up. But I knew of John because my dad made me watch those films. So
I recommend this. Watch The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Watch The Cowboys and McClintock. Watch those three. And if you don't walk away from that and go, he was a great actor, then you're just broken, because people underestimated him because he became so famous. But the guy I knew and the guy you saw are so different. I don't know. Like, there obviously there's traits that you can, that carry over. They're just, we use different muscles as actors that push out different parts of us to portray characters. That's what I think. And that's what the things you saw, that stoic kind of, I didn't see a lot of that. He was goofy to me. Like, people are like, yeah, he's this guy. I'm like, nah, he was a dork. Like this guy whose shorts were too tight, who used to saran wrap his toilet so tight that we couldn't tell, and then he'd wait for us to piss ourselves.
Oh no!
And, you know,
Thank you.
like that's
He,
the guy he was.
he
So,
wasn't the
yeah.
Duke. He was a twerk. Who knew?
Yeah.
But I mean these are
Sorry,
wonderful
Granddaddy.
stories. Just wonderful stories. Thank you so much for sharing them with us.
And
You ever
for
coach
saying
the
that
soccer
because-
team? You ever coach the soccer team on the sidelines wearing Mando armor?
No, this season I'm going to though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got to.
I'm
Take
going
some photos, please.
I've stolen enough from set to do what I need to do.
Yeah, it took 3 years, piece by piece. The costume is slowly been lifted. That's awesome.
Well, thanks again, Brendan, man. Thank you. Do you have anything you want to plug? Any convention appearances coming up? Anything like that? Other film projects? I don't know.
Can you hear me? I know I'm going to do a movie called Vanishing Tour shortly. This is really cool.
We're breaking up again. Can
Can you hear me?
It's a little,
It's a little
it's
rough
about
right
every other word we can hear, yeah.
How about now? Is that better?
It's still pretty choppy, robotic.
Yeah. How about this?
Uh-oh.
Back to the earbud. Nah.
Now it's
we're in trouble.
completely gone, yeah.
Now we're
Oh, no. Did he burn through another phone battery? What just happened? Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh,
People don't use their phones. But I'll get there.
well, maybe next time we talk to you, we can talk in person, and we won't have to deal with all this weird technology stuff. And we'll get the word out about what you're up to next for sure. Maybe we could talk to you again sometime.
We'd love to, yeah.
Yeah. I can't. I'm no expert at reading lips, but it seems like it was pretty funny what you just said. Oh.
Hey, this is a guy that acts and communicates with his body movements.
Yes,
So,
right.
We're
Right. This is not the way. Oh, he's got to post it
up a little higher. A little higher. Instagram.
Instagram.
All right, we're going to check out Instagram, and we'll let everybody know what you're up to. All right.
Follow Brendan Wayne on Instagram.
The real Brendan Wayne on Instagram. Wow. Thank you so much, Brendan. It's been awesome. What a treat. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Take care. Have a great one. Can't wait for Mandalorian and Grogu.
Awesome.
Take care.
All right. What a legend. All right. Brendan Wayne, the Mandalorian. Crazy.